Hi, I'm Charlene. I'm on screen and beyond. I'll be talking about my career with my record, I've Never Been to Me.
On Screen and Beyond, an inside look into the entertainment world featuring interviews with people from the movie, TV, and music industry. And now, here's the host of On Screen and Beyond, Brian Zemrak.
We are together once again here on Screen and Beyond. So glad you could join us. And this is the show that each week brings you a guest from the movie, TV, or music industry as they share their journey with us. And this week we head back to the 80s as we look at an international hit, I've Never Been to Me, which was sung by Charlene. Charlene is going to be coming up in a moment. And of course, like I said, that was an international hit. It was number one all over the world, and it hit number three in the US. And, that's quite an achievement. So she's going to be joining us just a second. Thanks for all of you for watching. I hope you had a chance to check out last week's show and watch it on Spotify or YouTube or hear it on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Or you can even say, hey, Alexa, play On Screen and Beyond podcast. It'll pop up. And be sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify. And if you have a suggestion for a guest, you can email me at feedback@onscreenandbeyond.com. And what do you say? It's time to chat with Charlene next, right here on Screen and Beyond. Today on Screen and Beyond, our guest is a singer who back in 1982 had a song that was an international hit, showing up at number one on the charts in Australia, Canada, Ireland, and the UK, as also being a top 10 song in Norway, Belgium, New Zealand, and the Netherlands. In the US, it made it to number three on the Billboard charts. The song was I've Never Been to Me, and the singer is Charlene. Charlene, welcome to On Screen and Beyond.
Thank you, Brian. This is so great. I love it.
Well, it's nice to have you here because, believe it or not, I was on the radio for years, and
Yeah.
when that song was out, I was one of the DJs that kept getting request after request after request. I mean, that song
Oh,
just went
oh,
crazy.
oh, that's so cool. Wow.
Yeah, and
While I was sleeping in England, all that was going on, and I didn't even know it was happening because at, at the time I was living in the UK.
yeah, and now there's quite a story I understand behind this. From what
Yes.
now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you originally did the song in 1977, right?
Yes.
And it just didn't go anywhere. But then
Didn't
all of a
go.
sudden it started. So bring us up, bring us through the story of what happened.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when I got signed to Motown, I was doing many vocals on different tracks for other artists. And you trying to find the right sound for me. And because I had the voice that I had, Barry Gordy was saying, Charlene, you're so different than any other singer. I mean, Diana Ross was probably a little bit closer to my sound, but nothing really. I was like the Joni Mitchell of Motown because I know she was very, very famous and I loved her style of singing. And Barry used to say that I sounded a lot like her. And it was, it was incredible. But it came along at a time when I was so different, and they even made my own label, Prodigal Records, and that was part of the Charlene thing, And I I I was excited because when I used to listen to music when I was growing up, my favorite song was a Motown song called Whenever the Love Light Shines Through His Eyes, Diana Ross, right? That was like my favorite song. And I was, living in England and got married there. And I was oblivious to anything going on in my life because when I recorded I've Never Been to Me, it was released and it didn't happen. And then, 6, 7 years later, I get the call from my mom telling me, Charlene, someone keeps calling me about your song, I've Never Been to Me, and they want to know where you are. I'm like, what? Wait, 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 wait. Rewind that. What are you telling me? They're looking for me? And she said, yeah, they are. They'll be calling you, or you better find out what they want. And I said, do they want money? Do they want more records? Do they want more singing? What do they want? It was just, I didn't have a clue. So I got the call about a week later from Jay Lasker. He was the president of Motown. And he said, hey, Charlene, where are you? And I said, well, right now I'm living in England. I just got married and I'm in England. He goes, well, your song is on the charts. And I said, what? Is this like a joke? Is this some kind of a bad joke? And he goes, no, your song, I've Never Been to Me, is on the Billboard charts. And I'm
Wow.
like, oh my, I can't believe it. I was gobsmacked. I just didn't even understand what they were. I thought it was a joke.
Right. After
And he
all that
said,
time.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know after all this time. And he said, is there any way that you can come back to England and sign some contracts and talk to some people and figure out what you're going to do? And I'm like going, wait a minute, I got to talk to my husband. So I got Jeff out of bed and he came up and I was like, honey, my song's on the charts in England and in America too, in America. And I'm like, oh my God, this is getting crazy. This is unbelievable. So now I'm starting to really, really get excited. I'm like, oh my God, this is, but I'm still thinking that it was a bad joke. It's like someone was going to go, April Fools, da, 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 not real, and I'm like, no, it was real. It was very real. So they get me on a plane. I fly back to America and I signed some contracts and talked to some people. And I'm welcomed by a lot of the writers at Motown at the big building where I used to go to 5 years earlier to meet a lot, Stevie Wonder. I used to know him, and he would come and sit next to me at a piano in a writing room where writers would come and write, and he'd play me his next song that he's going to release, and he was so sweet. He was awesome, but he was a big star, and I was never really thinking that he was big because he was such a nice guy. It was like you'd think he would be, who are you? And
Right.
he was
Yeah.
really great, and so okay. And Ron Miller, who wrote the song with Kenny Hirsch, he said, Charlene, I've written a song for you. And I said, I know I keep getting all these songs that I'm doing. I did Michael Jackson, One Day in Your Life. I did that for him. I did this for him. I did this for this artist and this, all these different people wanted me to sing. And Barry Gordy was saying, we have never found a song, Charlene, that matches your voice, and plus I was all these people, all these R&B artists at Motown. I was the only white girl with a Joni Mitchell kind of sound.
Hmm.
Now, where are they going to put me? So Ron Miller said to me, I've written the song for you. And I said, okay, okay. So at the time, I had gone through a really, really bad divorce with my first husband, and it was not good. It was very, very taxing and hard for me to go through. And Ron said, come into my office and I want to play you a little funky little track of this song, okay, that I really want you to hear. That I think, because I don't think any of the songs that you've been doing for Michael or for anybody sounds like what we have. We have everybody sounding. Michael was like the closest to me that who was on Motown, but everybody else was more R&B and everything. So I go in his office and I sit down, and he was a big guy, big. big, he wrote so many hits on Motown, so many hits. And I didn't know all this. Otherwise, I would have been so scared and insecure and afraid and like going, oh my God, what? I would have been so shy. But he said, here, okay, here's the song. And it's called I've Never Been to Me. And so he put it on, and the girl starts with, hey, lady, you lady, cursing at your life. You're a discontented mother and a regimented wife. I've no doubt you dream about the things you'll never do. But I wish someone had a talk to me like I want to talk to you. Ooh, I've been to Georgia. And goes on and on and on. And I'm hearing this, and a flood of emotions come on me of like, I wish someone had to talk to me like I want to talk to you. I've never done this. I've done, and I'm hearing all these backflashes of what my life has been looking like, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And I started crying. I
Wow.
started crying very hard. I was just blown away by this song. And at the end of it, I got to the end of it, and I was just like, just losing it. And Ron shut the tape recorder off, and he said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I don't know who you are." He goes, "I'm a writer. I've been writing a lot of songs. I didn't know who he was, but I was so embarrassed by the way I was acting. He knew me because of my voice and what I sang, and he thought I was one of the greatest singers ever. Which okay. so so it was so embarrassing. And he said, I I I love this song for you. I would love this song for you, Charlene. And I said, Ron, you know what? This song is me, is my life. This song is my life. It's saying everything that I can't even believe. Did you live in my house for the last 5 years and see what I was going through and
Wow.
see what my life was like? No, no, no. I don't mean that real.
Hi there. I'm Melissa Manchester, and I'm on screen and beyond.
Even though somebody else wrote it,
Yeah.
you connected with this song not
Oh,
just because it was a song you were going to sing. It connected with you personally and
yeah.
emotionally.
Oh, absolutely. I have never had a song come to me, come through my path of songs and people who have sing this, sing that. I've never had a song that went right to my heart
Hmm.
and was talking about me, and almost like Roberta Flack's touching,
Yep.
no,
Yep.
what's the name of that song?
Killing me softly.
Killing Me Softly was like kind of something like that. But this was much deeper. This song was so deep. It went down into my soul, and it was like it pulled me out. And it was like I was having an out of body experience almost with this song. I
Hmm.
was like, oh my
Wow.
God, it was incredible. But that's kind of how the whole thing started.
Oh. Now, when you say you were singing for Michael Jackson and think, what was it like? You were making the demo so they could hear what the song would sound like? Is that
Yeah,
what it was?
yeah, yeah, that's what
Ah.
it was. Yeah, yeah. And it was gonna the song that he got for me um was gonna be for me to sing, and then it turned around, it ended up on his album. And that was okay, because I was still searching. This is
Mhm.
before I've never been to me.
Yeah.
So it was like I was still searching for my identity as a singer and as a song, and what could I do, but then when Never Been to Me came along, it was sold. It was like, oh my God, there's never anything that has been so powerful to me in
No
my
way you were
life.
going to let this song get away, right?
Oh no, no. It was like, oh, I've got to do it. So Ron contacted Barry Gordy and said that it was an amazing connection with Charlene and the song. And Barry said, go into the Motown studio. Okay, now I was singing in a little, in the office studio. It was like a little teeny, like in this little room that I'm in right now. It was a little teeny studio with a little teeny thing, little speakers, and that was where I recorded the demo to show Barry how I matched the song.
Yeah.
And Barry loved it. And he said, I want you to take Charlene and the song, and I want you to go into the big Motown studio in Hollywood. And I want to get Costa, not John Costa. The one who did all Frank Sinatra's violins. He did all the arrangements for Frank Sinatra. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, and Bob Gaudio. No, that wasn't. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little scattered here. But he said, I want you to contact this person for the arrangements. I want to have the best musicians, like the guys who are playing all the big albums, all the big people. And I'm sitting there, I've never done anything but do a little guitar thing with my husband in our friend's, studio. And my husband, who was like, he couldn't really play a good guitar. He was okay. But, I did all these little things in these little studios, which was nothing. And here I go walking into this mega soundstage. It was like being on a soundstage for a movie or something. It was huge. And all the violins and cellos and harp players and people and everything were all set up in there. And I'm like, oh my God, wait, this is for my song? And yep, Ron goes, yep, this is for your song, Charlene.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, okay. And I'm like, I feel like I'm numb. I feel for because it happened so quick. It
Hmm.
was like I was contacted in England. I'm on a plane. I'm in LA. I'm up at the Motown, the studio, the place where everybody gathers for introducing people in the little office thing. And I'm doing that. And the next thing I know, I'm on a plane flying from London in back. Well, I've been into California. I've been to California, so I'm catching a cab to take me to the studio in Hollywood, and I'm like, this is insane, and I'm like, can I can I be this song? Can I sing this song and become the gravity that this song deserves from me? Because I'm just a little country singer. That's all I saw myself as.
Yeah.
I had horses. I came to the studio in overalls and cowboy boots, and I was like, I had horses, on my property. I was loving horses, and
Yeah.
I had been, away from music for quite a while when I lived in England,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
So, um, it was crazy. So I'm sitting there, I'm hearing the musicians, with Don Costa. That's what his name. Don Costa doing all the arrangements and leading the people and the violins and everything. And Ron goes, Charlene, why don't you go have some lunch and come back? Be about an hour. We're going to get everything together and we're going to have it right for you to hear. I go, okay. So I go out for lunch and I come back an hour later and I walk into the double doors that are going into the studio and I'm hearing these violins. It was like I was in a symphony. I'm like, this can't be that can't be the song. It's got to be somebody else's song. I don't know who, but who. And I open the door and there's Ron with Barry Gordy conducting the song.
Hmm.
And I'm like,
Wow.
oh my God. I said, this is the song? And he goes, how do you like your song, baby? In a really deep voice. And I said, oh my God, it's beautiful. Incredible. And I'm crying again. I'm like getting all these emotions coming up from being the little girl coming from a very unhappy marriage to, somebody who, I couldn't be with my husband anymore. And well, of course, I was with Jeff. Me and Jeff got married in England,
Mhm.
prior
Yep.
to all this. And I'm just like blown away. And so Ron goes, okay, well, our track is done. Do you like it? It's beautiful. I said, oh my God, it sounds like the most beautiful piece of music I've ever heard, and that's that's what happened.
Now, Charlene, I mentioned in the introduction all the places that you were at number one and
Yeah,
the top 10. In the United States, you only got to number three. But I think the only
yeah,
reason why you didn't get to number one was because there were two songs that were out, one by Rick Springfield
yeah,
and one by somebody you knew, Stevie Wonder, and a guy named
yeah,
Paul McCartney. I don't know who he is, but
yeah.
they
With
they did a duet, Ebony and
yes, they did
Ivory.
a duet.
And it's
I
like,
know.
okay, well, if you're not going to make it to number one, having those guys in front of you isn't
That's
that
a
bad. I mean,
great
you know, Stevie and
it was
Paul are
fantastic.
probably, the top of the cream of the crop there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, that's amazing. It's
Oh
just
my
incredible.
God.
And they've used
It
your
was,
song in a lot of movies and TV
oh,
shows.
so many movies
Yeah.
all the time.
Yep.
I'm hearing it on this. Somebody calls me, I saw you on this. I heard people doing your song on this and this, and just all over the place. It's such a, it's such a powerful song,
Yeah.
it really is. And it was powerful to me, but for my life, it was powerful. But people matched that song with their life, and it kind of it was drawn back into their life and what they were going through. And I get fan mail now. I get a lot of fan mail still, and I get from people who are young, like 22 years old. And this song, I recorded it like almost 40 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
It's like, oh my God. And I said, Ron, what do you think happened, why it didn't go to number one? He goes, I'll tell you exactly what happened. Okay, when we did the song, he said, do you remember the part that I put in? I don't know if you remember it, Charlene, but it goes, hey, you know what paradise is? It's a lie, a fantasy we create about people and places as we'd like them to be. But you know what truth is? It's that little baby you're holding. It's that man you fought with this morning, the same one you're going to make love with tonight. That's truth. That's love. And
Hmm.
he said that was what needed to be in. And that's why it's number one now
Yeah.
all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
And back
Everywhere else. Yeah.
then it wasn't. See, that was what the penny dropped when that talking part came in and people heard that. And then it ricocheted into their heart and going, oh my God. So you could imagine a lady sitting at her ironing board in her kitchen. Hey, lady, you lady, cursing at your life. You're a discontented mother. And them relating, been to Georgia, California, anywhere I could run. Took the hand of a preacher man and we made love in the sun. But I ran out of places and so many faces that I had to be free. I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me.
Hmm.
So these ladies that were singing the song to themselves, it was like their mantra. It was like their song, and
Yeah.
oh God, it was. I've never, I listened to the song now. I listened to the song couple weeks ago with my daughter in the car, and I heard the song, and I almost started crying again. I'm like this song, and all my emotion, all my stuff that I went through as a wife. The
Hmm.
first marriage was so hard. It was so bad for me, and it just was so powerful, and this song just sang to me again, and it sang to me again, and it was like I started crying again. And Bethany, my daughter, goes, Mom, are you crying? I said, yes, I'm crying. The song is so emotional. My emotion was so big. I was so
Hmm.
deep in emotion,
Yeah. It's
and
funny
it
how
was
music can do that to
that.
just,
Oh, I
draw out
know.
that kind of emotion from a person.
Yes, yes.
Hi,
Hi,
we're
we're
the
the
Cowsills.
Cowsills. And I'm Paul.
I'm Susan.
And I'm Bob. And we are on Screen and Beyond.
It's unbelievable. So I had such a great experience with this song in my life. I had such a great experience.
Mhm.
It's so beautiful and so brilliant. And it took me a long while to sing the actual vocal because my upbringing with music was like Joni Mitchell or da 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 da, and I never had the rhythm and the style and the phrasing of "I've Never Been to Me" in a song. I've never had that. So Ron had to really work with me a lot in getting the "Hey lady, you lady, cursing at your life, you're a discontented." It's a whole different rhythm of
Mhm.
singing,
Yeah.
and I had never done that.
Hmm.
So it took me a while to get it, but it was so worth it. It was so brilliant.
Yeah. Are you still singing, doing any tours
Yes,
or
I'm writing. I'm not touring. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm doing a lot of interviews, like, radio interviews and
mhm.
TV interviews and things like that. But I'm not touring. I've got 6 dogs, which are my fur babies. I gotta take care of my fur babies.
Mhm.
And my daughter wants to sing, and I'm gonna
Oh,
try to encourage her. And just I'm a homebody in Fort Worth, Texas.
yeah.
Very strange for me because I'm from California, but I loved California. I loved it, but it's kind of getting a little bit nutty over there. But
Yeah, wow. It's so you're not going, you don't pop up every once in a while someplace and sing or anything like that.
not yet. I might. Something could come up.
Yeah,
I don't know, but right now I'm not searching for that.
yeah,
I'm searching to be home with my family, and I play the piano, and I taught piano for a while. I was teaching kids to play piano, and doing the music thing of playing and writing songs.
yeah.
But I've got a new song that I just finished.
Oh,
Just finished, but I wrote it 10 years ago.
yeah, yeah. No, I understand that.
That's it. And it's
Yeah.
a beautiful song. It's called "Before We Say Goodbye." And it's a oh God, it's a great song. And a friend of mine in Ireland, I sent it to him over the phone, and he loved it, and he did a recording of it. And he said, "Charlene, you want to hear the song you sent me?" I said, "What song did I send you? Before We Say Goodbye?" And he said, "Before We Say Goodbye." And I said, "Oh wow, I remember that." And he played it for me. It was beautiful. I said, "Oh my gosh." So we might release that,
Wow,
you
that's
know,
great. That's great.
whatever he wants to do with it.
Yeah. Well, Charlene, I want to finish up with one final question.
Okay.
Taking us away from I've never been to me and all the excitement that you went through to make it and all the places that you were number one in around the world. I mean, that's
Yeah.
amazing. But when you sit back and relax, what are your favorite TV shows now and of the past? And what are your favorite movies? What do you enjoy watching?
I become a I become a couch potato. Not really. No, 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 no. I'm way too busy and doing things and taking care of
Hmm.
my dogs. Um, TV shows. I love I love the one about the firefighters and the people who get into the fire and they help people, they save people. Um and just things like that. And movies. One of my favorite movies is I'm kind of dark.
Well, I throw it out, the question out at people, and everybody just sits there, oh no, now my mind's blank and I can't think of
I
anything.
know, no. One of my favorite movies is oh God, I can't remember the name of it. Um it's kind of a thriller, a war. I like war movies. I
Ah,
like
yeah.
I like action and stuff like that. I like that. Um oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. See, when it's like I'm relaxed, I can think of it, but when I'm on the spot, I can't think of it.
What about when you were a kid growing up? Did you have a favorite show back then when you were watching TV?
Not really.
No.
Not really. I used to be in my bedroom and I'd be playing the Wee Five. When I woke up this morning, you were on my
Hmm.
mind.
Yeah.
You were on my mind. And I'd play that and I'd turn the vocals off and I would hear just the music. And I used to just get mesmerized by the music. And the music was always
That
not
was
so
your
much
life.
the singing,
Yep.
but the music and the way the tracks were put together. It was it was amazing and it really intrigued me. And
Hmm.
it kind of was an influence for me,
Yeah.
to get into music.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Charlene, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to share with
Thank
us and
you.
letting us know the behind the scenes story of I've Never Been to Me, because it's always
Yeah.
fascinating to hear those
It-
things.
yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Brian. Thank you so much for having me on.
Well,
It's been a pleasure and it's been a lot of fun and yay.
and a big shout out going to Charlene for joining us here today at On Screen and Beyond. We thank her so much, and I hope you enjoyed that. Be sure to check out all of the over 770 celebrity guests that have joined us over the years here at On Screen and Beyond over the past 19 years. If you watch the show, then there are only a little over 50 shows right now because I started video versions only last year. So, you can't hear all the ones that we have, or watch the ones we have rather, but you can listen to them by just heading over to your favorite podcast provider like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or tell Alexa to play On Screen and Beyond. And you can hear any of those past ones on the audio podcasts. A lot of great ones there, Bob Barker and everything else that we've had over the years, Mickey Rooney. Well, that's a wrap for this episode of On Screen and Beyond. So until next time, when we once again take you on screen and beyond, I'm Brian Zemrak. Take care.